Bro, yeah, I know. I like 24 is just 2 weeks away, but I still just don't know what to post anymore. Wait,
Trying to finish him! What a comeback!
it's a perfect idea. Gotta go. Appreciate you, man.
Big shot! He's out!
What the fuck are you doing? Bro, what do you mean? You told me to do that. Not that. The game, moron. Oh. Alright, let's go.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another video, and today we are getting straight into it. I'm not using a face cam because I really don't feel like showing my face right now. I don't feel like getting ready for the video in the camera right now, you know what I'm saying? So we are starting with just a nice little video about ranking UFC 1 through UFC 4. Now this is a little bit different of a video than I usually do, but I need something to upload because I don't want to go consecutive days without uploading. So we are starting off from the worst to the best. So we're gonna start off with the worst. Now this might be controversial, but it's UFC 4. Let's be honest, UFC 4 is shitty. That game is just not good. Now the three things that I'm gonna be looking at are online, career mode, and just overall graphics, progressiveness, and accuracy in the players. Now, we're looking at career mode for UFC 4. Career mode for UFC 4 is the worst career by far. The problem with the career mode in UFC 4 is that you can fight 5, 6, 7 times in a row, win by first round knockout, and still not get a ranked opponent until you're like 10-0. It's the dumbest shit ever. And then not to mention that you have to do these training camps that are so dumb just to be able to get enough fitness to be able to get attributes to upgrade your player and to have enough fitness to actually fight. Because if you fight on low fitness, you're just not going to be able to beat them because you're just so hard to beat and you're going to get injured every fight. So career mode, an absolute L. It is so boring to me to play career mode for UFC 4, as well as if you lose your belt, you know how many fights it takes just to be able to get another title shot? I mean, you could be defending your belt 10 times in a row. If you lose once, you won't get an immediate rematch. You have to beat a number 1, number 2, number 3 ranked contender at least 2-3 fights in a row just to be able to get another title shot. So it's unrealistic, and it's time consuming with the training camps. Nobody wants to actually do training camps. We just want to fight, There's no action shots. The commentary is bad. Joe Rogan isn't in it, and Joe Rogan's a great commentator. All they have is John Anik and Daniel Cormier, so they don't have 3 commentators like they used to on the other UFCs. And it's just overall not a good career mode. Now we go to online. Online, not that bad. It is not that bad. What I don't like the fluidity and the striking of UFC 4. I just think it's a little weak. I just think that it's just not my style. But I will say there isn't as many broken methods in UFC 4 as there is in certain UFCs. Like online, there isn't the clinch where you literally clinch somebody and their health gets to half. The clinch is not broken, ground game isn't broken. I will say takedown defense is a little broken because I feel like you could defend a takedown and it still just doesn't get defended. But other than that, overall, the striking, the grappling, it's solid. It's just not good. You know what I mean? So that is why I'm ranking UFC 4 at number 4. Perfect, UFC 4, number 4. And I'm going to give it a rating of a 4 out of 10. Now, let's move on to number 3. Number 3 for me is UFC 1. Now, I haven't played UFC 1 that much, but over the years I have played it. Now, we're looking at career mode. Similar to UFC 4, you do have to do training camps to be able to get certain attributes and certain moves, but the career mode is a lot more fluid. It's a lot more realistic. You're fighting guys and you're getting these ranked opportunities. It's just a lot better of a career mode in my opinion. It's the first ever UFC official EA Sports UFC game to be released, and within the UFC 1 through 4, and I definitely think it is a good game. But for that reason said, I'm putting it at number 3 because I haven't played it as much, and I know it isn't better than UFC 2 and 3 just off of experience and off of what people have said. Now, the fighting style of it, it's just a little worse than UFC 2 striking. I think it's definitely more realistic than other UFCs. I think it's around that range, realistic with UFC 4. It is realistic striking. Everything does feel pretty smooth, especially for the year that it was made. Online, I don't think I ever played online, so I can't actually count that in, but anything is better than UFC 4. For that being said, I haven't played this game enough to be able to give it a certain rating, but I think I'll give it around a 6 out of 10. You know, it's the first ever EA Sports UFC official game, so I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Now let's move on to the number 2 spot. The number 2 spot for me is going to be UFC 2. Now, the UFC 2 is a fantastic game. The career mode is great, online is great, the player accuracy is good, the moves are good, but UFC 2 is very unrealistic. Let's be honest. I mean, that game has unrealistic kicks, unrealistic moves on different fighters. And let's start with the career mode. The career mode is very similar to UFC 1, except you do not have to do training camps to actually be able to get the moves. You do them once, and then after that you have the training camp on simulate, and you're able to simulate training camps to get certain moves and certain attributes, right? So I like that a lot more because you're able to simulate the training camps not only to get moves, but to also get attributes. And that's what I like about UFC 2 and the career mode. Now, the career mode, I would say it does take quite a bit of fights to be able to just get a rank contender, which I don't like. And once you do get into that rank contender status, I feel like it just takes a long time until you get to the champion, you know, to be able to have your first shot. So the career mode is solid. It's definitely solid. I like it, but you know, things obviously could have been better. Now, speaking for online, online was similar to UFC 3. It's a division. You get points by ranking, and online was very broken, but it was always, UFC 2 was the most unrealistic, but always probably the most fun, and the you know, the least frustrating UFC that I've ever played, at least. And for that reason, I'm giving it a number 2. I think it's accurate, I think it's great, and for my rating, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Now, number 1, UFC 3. Let's be honest, UFC 3 is nearly a perfect game. I love that game. The striking is so realistic. Grappling is realistic. A little slow on transitions, but realistic. The career mode is great. I mean, although it takes a lot of fights to be able to get the champion status, but it's just like every other UFC game. It just takes a bunch of fights for some reason. Because in real life, you know, you could be a Khamzat Chimaev or you know, let's say Alex Pereira, and you're getting a title shot, you know. But UFC 3 is a little older, so maybe they didn't have those type of fighters back then that would go on a few fights and get a title shot. But actually, you know, they did have Brock Lesnar, they did have Ronda Rousey, they had those fighters. So it is in my books, it is number 1. Career mode, I mean, it is, can you really say anything else? That game is just fantastic. You know, you're able to do the career mode, you simulate the training camps to be able to get attributes, and then to be able to get some moves, you have to do the training camps, but they're fun. You know, they make the training camps fun when you actually have to do them to be able to upgrade moves and get them, and you have to fight, and the higher ranking you get, the better moves you can get, which is very realistic, because you have more access to better training camps, stuff like that. Now, let's talk about the online mode. And actually, no, and in career, what's nice about UFC 3 is that if you are not fighting your rival, let's say you lose a fight, you don't restart and have to fight another 5 fights just to get back to where you were. If you lose one of those fights, you just keep going as normal, which is very nice, because then that means, oh, I didn't lose and I have to restart, you know. That's what I like about UFC 3's career. Now let's go to UFC 3's online mode. Online, very similar to UFC 2. You have divisional rankings, but there wasn't as many broken things. It wasn't unrealistic. It was very realistic, but the thing I will say that was broken about UFC 3 was the clinch. The clinch was very broken in UFC 3. I mean, those knees and elbows were just almost unbeatable, and it was very hard to decline the clinch. But overall, UFC 3, it's the best UFC out of all of them. Let's be honest. You could make a debate between UFC 2 and UFC 3. For me, it's UFC 3. I've played it more. I love it more. It's just more realistic, and it's the better UFC game in my opinion. And for that reason, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I don't think UFC will ever be a 10 out of 10 until we see some improvements. You know, they definitely need some improvements. They need a more in-depth career mode, kind of like Undisputed 3. That was a very in-depth career mode. You know, that game was probably a 10 out of 10. You know, until we see a game like that again, you know, I think the highest we'll get for UFC is 9.5. And that is going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed a quick little video ranking UFC 1 through UFC 4. Different content, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And next video, I will probably be doing a pack and draft for 23. 24 is about 2 weeks away. And, you know, we're all excited. We're all hyped. We're all pumped. But I hope you all enjoyed the video. And, you know, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Yo, before the video ends, I want to give a huge shout out to RajmanGamingHD for the clip, and I got a new mic, so some better mic quality coming soon, so stay tuned. Peace.